Business isn't meant to be a battle. Life isn't meant to be a constant fight, but it can feel like that. Like there's always something coming at you, somebody coming at you, something to deal with, a situation that's stressing you out, a health issue to figure out, a money issue to figure out, a challenge, a test, a battle to overcome and deal with. And we can feel weak. It can feel unfair, upsetting. But here's the thing. You are not being tested. In fact, it's the opposite. Today, you're going to find out what God wants you to do instead of fighting your way through life and battling your way through business. Did you know that you are called? You have a business, an idea, a gift, a purpose inside of you that has to be nurtured, that has to be in the world. And we are urged to build a business and life worthy of the calling we have received. So let's start now. Steve and I caught ourselves recently in a fight. Not a fight between us, not a physical fight. It was a battle. And it felt at the time, we realised that we'd spent years fighting, sticking up for ourselves, battling for breakthroughs, battling for success, fighting for progress, fighting to be heard, to be listened to be respected, battling with certain people, certain situations, battling with thoughts of insecurity or whatever, you know the stuff. But we were being taught in that moment, it was such a strong message to stop fighting our way through life. But it's taken a while to get here. And honestly, it really doesn't need to. But it takes awareness and it takes faith because this is a different way of living. A woman in Believe recently said how it felt like she was constantly trying to do things, trying to sort things out, fighting, battling. This isn't how life is meant to be. Yes, we have things to do. We have action to take. We have to stand up for ourselves, but we don't have to fight. So what do you do instead? And then another woman in Believe sent me a song. And this is why your circle of women matters, because she knew the battle we were facing, two of them actually. And just because you're a believer doesn't mean to say it's plain sailing, but it's how you deal with the battles that matter. And the usual response is to fight, which means obviously not physically, it means sort it out, panic, go into fear, fix things, come up with a solution, respond to that WhatsApp message straight away, send them a voice note telling them what we think. That's how we fight in business world. Somebody said it's like war without bullets. And that's how we respond to situations in our life. It's like an immediate, I'll sort it out. And this song that she sent me is called Battle Belongs. And it says, I'll not sing it because I respect your eardrums, but it says, no, I will. And when I fight on my knees. But guess what? I kept singing for about, I had it on repeat for days, but for about the first 2 days, instead of saying I fight on my knees, which is so profound, isn't it? It's like, I'm not going to respond to that text message, respond to that email, respond to that person straight away through what I think I should say and how I think I should do it. I'm going to get on my knees because I know that God knows better. And if I do it without God, it could go even crazier. So I'm going to get on my knees. How profound is that? But I kept singing, and when I fight on my own, because I've been so used to fighting my way through life on my own. You know what it's like. You've been through stuff. You've been bullied. You've been in unhealthy relationships. You've been in toxic work situations. And you have felt like you've had to fight to be heard, fight to be seen, fight to be right. And it is exhausting, isn't it? And then this is even funnier. The song goes on to say, and every fear I lay at your feet. So, you know, when the WhatsApp message comes in, when the text message, when the email, when the phone call, when whatever, when the person's look on the face is right at you, and you go into fear and you spiral and you know you're going to like worst case outcome straight away. It says, every fear I lay at your feet. So we can't do that if we're spiraling, if we go into stress and fear and anxiety and all the rest. It's saying, right, get down on your knees, remember God in the moment, in every moment, and I lay the fear, the situation, this fight at your feet. Guess what I kept singing for those first 2 days? Every fear I play on repeat. You can't make it up. And Bodhi, my son, kept saying to me, why do you keep singing the wrong words? And I'm like, because this is how I have lived. When I fight on my own. Every fear I played on repeat. That was my life before meeting God, before putting my hands up in church and saying, Jesus, take over. Because when I fight now, I'm going to fight on my knees, and every fear I'm going to lay at your feet, because I am not doing business and life on my own anymore. And the thing is with fighting is that it's so exhausting, and sometimes you have the strength to fight, sometimes you don't, sometimes you don't even know if your response is right, and it's just so confusing. And it just shows you the constant fight is a massive attack on your nervous system. And I bet it impacts your mood, your eating, your digestion, your elimination, your periods. It affects everything. It gives you that muzzy head in the morning because it's all on you and it doesn't need to be. Here's a real life example, because we've got to make it real. We've got to make all of this real. We have a Believe Live event coming up, and the room was cancelled. A few days before the event, I knew something was going on, but it was cancelled just a couple of days before. Now, my instant reaction was very briefly panic and slight anger, because you go, don't you, straight into your wounds from years ago of how dare they, I'm let down, all that kind of stuff. So much stuff comes up and you go into that fight. In the past, that would have exploded out into a response to a message that wouldn't have been healthy and wouldn't have been right. But it's just that instinct reaction to fight, to sort it out. But when you practice what Believe is all about, when you know who lives in you, you rest in the battle. And it takes time for that response to shift because we're so used to fighting. But that's where women always say to me, like, how do I know it's God's voice? And God's voice is your conscience. It's that voice of, don't just wait. You know, you really want to respond because you really actually want to get into a fight, but just wait. Just don't send the message just yet, just wait. But we really want to get it done with, don't we? We really want to respond. We want to tell them what we think. We want to get another thing off our to-do list. But God says to us very quietly, not yet. Don't do it yet. Hold back a minute. Just don't send it yet. Just go and breathe. Get down on your knees. Lay the fear at my feet. Just wait. Because that's a different way of doing it. And believing in God doesn't mean to say that, right, I lay everything at your feet and I get down on my knees and pray and I don't do anything else. Yes, we've got to take action. You look for alternatives. You Google venues. You ask people that you know in Manchester or wherever the event is at, hey, you've got a room, haven't you? Is it available? But you don't send that impulsive, angry text and you don't panic because you know in your cells, if I was to cut you open and you were a stick of rock, it would say, I trust God. I'm not going to go into panic because I believe. Because this is where you know that the scriptures you're reading, the podcast you're listening to, the words you hear, the memes, the quotes, the Bibles, everything that you see on Instagram, this is where you know if the Holy Spirit is living in you, if God is actually living in you, because you don't flip, you don't panic, you get on your knees. I didn't literally, right? This isn't I'm on the train, I've seen a message, I'm going to get on my knees. You might, if you really want to, do it. I didn't get on my knees, but I sat by my laptop and instead of sending a message, I prayed. Not saying I'm holier than thou. I never used to do that. I would just, right, give him a piece of my mind straight away, right, bang, next. Because prayer feels weak. It's like you're out of control. But really, if you think about it, that's the point. Do we actually want to be in control. The same Spirit that rose Jesus from the dead lives inside of you. And we're not just asking for meek help, we're asking God, who created everything, for help. He cares about your business and the room you've booked. He cares about where your sunglasses are because you've lost them and you love them. He cares about the big things. He cares about the small things. He cares about the details. To me, this was big. To somebody that runs massive venues and massive gigs, this would have been a small thing. But to me, it was big, because I had women coming to that event that I was not going to let down. I had women to serve, to meet up with, who had paid me, and they were going to get the event, the experience they had paid for. But I was not going to panic, because I heard God's voice, and you'll start to hear it too. That conviction, your conscience, it'll tell you, don't panic, pray. Ask me for help, invite me in. A lot of the time people are waiting for God to bash them over the head with a miracle. But why? Why would God do that if we're not being proactive? I used to wait. I'd be like, well, if there's a God, then this would be solved. Yeah, if we ask, if we have a relationship with him, faith is seen as weak, but faith is you being strong, because you're not reacting based off wounds, fears, impulses. Believing in God is seen as foolish until you experience it. People think the word of God is foolish until you know it's changed your life. And when you know that everything is completely different from the inside out, because the words are transforming you, it's an experience that you almost can't explain it. It's such a profound change on the inside of you. Our normal response is usually anger, frustration, and we can go into, why God, why? But this is why we train ourselves to respond differently. Prayer asks for help. It helps you to surrender, and it lets you be productive and get on with what tasks you can be getting on with, knowing that God is handling the rest. You don't need to fight. Or if you want to, fight to pray, because there's actually something fighting you to not pray. That's the thing to fight. So practically, you might not have had a room whipped off you, but what if you had a kid issue, a health issue, a purpose issue, a money issue, an issue with somebody in your life? Your action, your fight, is to fight the forces stopping you from praying and believing and just praying where you are, even if you struggle to utter the words. Just say that. Even if you resist it, just say, hey God, it's me. Just go there, because God knows your prayers, even the ones you struggle to even utter and don't even know what you need or have no idea what to say. Have you ever had a prayer answered and all you've done is kind of thought about it? You've not even spoke it out, because God knows what you need. And when you've got that relationship, it's like a relationship with your intimate partner. You know exactly what's coming next because you know them so well. That's what it becomes like with your relationship with God. Fighting on your own, trying to sort it all out, actually means lack of trust. Fighting means we believe that we don't have God on our side. God shows out. With God, there is victory. Mountains will be moved. Battles, challenges, they're going to come. But you don't have to live stressed out, anxious, and almost anticipating the next fight. Have you ever had a conversation in your own head, going over what you'd say in that situation and how you'd respond to somebody, and it's going over and over and over in your head? Imagine what else you could be thinking instead. So next time you feel like you're in a stressful situation, a fight's coming, look up, thank God, know God has your back. Know that yes, you will cry, you'll get upset, things will happen, but it won't shake you. You'll stand strong, because even if somebody is against you, even if somebody is trying to stop you, God is more powerful and God is for you. As I'm recording this episode, I have a mini battle. People against me, my business, the enemy causing a little bit of trouble. making me sort stuff out, over preparing for an event and other things that I record. I cry because I'm a crier. It's how I let things out, but it won't stop us. It makes me realise that we're onto something. So you'll feel that too. You don't need to fight anything. You can cry, you can pray, and you can carry on knowing that God has a plan. In fact, you can carry on in confidence knowing that things are going to come at you, but your power, your weapon is prayer, and God has you. How amazing is that? The battle belongs to God. When I get excited, I always stutter over my words. The battle belongs to God. We don't have to do it. So what do you do now? It can feel like when you're a believer that things are getting harder, but it's not. It's not that you're doing something wrong that I used to think. It's because you are called and you're being asked to trust and lean in even more. And like I said, it's a good sign because it means the enemy's trying to stop something that is so powerful, which is you. You underneath the business, whether he's trying to stop you or your business, it's the same thing because you are part of your business. So if he's trying to take you out with health or family issues or relationship issues, or whether it's something in your business like a room being changed or whatever, the battle is to battle against the forces trying to stop you from praying and believing in God, not to fight other people. To know that challenges come, people will be against you, persecution might happen, but it's okay because it's not your fight. Pause, pray. We're told to be still. We're told to be still, not sit and watch Netflix, but be still and not panic because God has you. This doesn't just happen overnight. This conviction, this knowledge, this remembering to go to God before we go to our WhatsApp, before we go to God, before we battle with somebody, before we respond. It takes practice, and this is the entire point of Believe. We take everything that we're learning about and we apply it over and over again. If you know deep down in your heart that you are called, that you have a business, whether it's a business that's a few months on, a few years on, whether it's a glimmer of an idea, and you want to do it differently and you want God to be in your business, I can guarantee it feels completely different when you invite God in to your business and to your life. We've got Believe Live events, we've got the online community, the inner circle. Reach out and find out more. And I'll see you again in the next episode.